Good morning, afternoon, evening, friends and family, loved ones. This is your friend Kelly, and I'm going to do a how-to video on how to do these. This one's the breast cancer awareness, which is white and two color pinks, which pink, of course, is for breast cancer. Ribbon keychains that I'm going to make. Or I've actually made 5 of them. I'm going to make a bunch more. This is something that you can do with different colors. Lavender is generic for all cancer types. They have brain cancer that's gray. There's, childhood cancer, I think, has yellows or oranges in it. It's there's different colors for all different kinds of cancers, just to make you aware. So if you have somebody in your life or family and you would like to get one for them, you can contact me, or you can buy the Paracord and try and do it yourself. I'm just putting that out there. They're not fun to make, I can tell you that, because this is a box knot. And box knots are, to me, kind of a pain to do. But to begin with, you need 2 5-foot pieces of paracord. And of course, since I'm doing all the same kind, I have cut the same color or the same pattern paracord. You need to find the middle. There's the middle of one, and then you need to find the middle on the second one. And there's the middle on the second one. And what you want to do is cross them over in the middle. So you have your top cord, your right cord, your left cord, and your bottom cord. Now what you want to do is start with your top cord. We're going to assume that this is the left side just because that's the way I'm going to do it. You flip it over and just have it over the one cord. Then you go counterclockwise on the one. This will be on the left. You'll see what I mean when I get to it. And then the bottom cord, go up and over that. And then the right cord will go through this loop that you just made. I know this is probably going to be a pain to show. The first knot is always more difficult to do because you're trying to hold it to where it doesn't get out of whack. I mean, if you go a little bit of pulling one cord more than the other, it's not that big of a deal. You get extra with a little bit of with a 5-foot, but you just want, let's see if I can get it to come in, the cross. And as like I said, it's kind of a square knot. You want to snug it up. You don't want it super tight when you make these, but you do want them nice and snug. On the other side, I don't know if you can see this, because of the way the knot's done. Let me see here. Come on. It's not the same where you can see that. So you want to do your next knot on this version. So flip it over, have that facing up to where you're actually the square knot's on the bottom, and do the same thing. You flip that over the top, go counterclockwise again, go to the next cord, flip it over, go to the next cord, flip it over, and then the last cord, the 4th cord, you go over and through the loop that you just created. And you pull them. And like I said, you want them snug. You don't want to cinch them down, which with me, if you've watched any of my other videos, you're going to know that's an issue with me because you know how tight I like to do my knots. But you want to be able to have enough flex to bend it to make it into this. And that's knot number 2. Now that we got the 2 first knots done that you need to do, now it's on the right side, the cord up top. Whether it's on the right side, you alternate out. The next time it'll be left side, right, left is the way it goes after you get the first 2 knots done. Now, since now we're on the right side instead of the left side, you go clockwise. So you do the right side, flip it over, and then that fourth cord over and through the loop and tighten it down. Or snug it up if you prefer, so you don't crank it down. Like I said, you want it snug, but you don't want it super tight. You don't want to crank it down like I have a tendency to do on the other ones, but you want it to snug to where it's not coming undone. Usually what I'll do is I'll take opposite corners and do them that way, and then kind of just go all the way around. And then sometimes I'll do each individual one and hold it and twist it. Do whichever way works best for you. And now the cords on the left side. So now you do the left side first, and you go counterclockwise. Left side, go counterclockwise. Right side, go clockwise as you're flipping the cords over. And do the knot. Now, I can continue doing this, and I'll probably do a few more and just repeat myself to help you guys out, because I know it's not a hard knot. It's just a pain getting it tightened down. And like I said, doing it snug to where it doesn't work loose or be too loose, but not too tight. So now it's on the right side of the knot. So you go clockwise. I'm going to knock stuff down. And over and through that little loop. And there was that one. Now see, I do box knot keychains. I didn't grab one that I have pre-made, and I may pause this and go get it in a little bit as I do this. Now, left is on top. Go counterclockwise, left, over, over, and then over and through. Like I said, not a hard knot, but these are more labor intensive doing because of the way I have to do these. I mean, I don't know how long it'll take me to actually do this on here. What I'm going to probably do now is pause this and then pick it back up when I get to knot 15, which you figure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've done 6 knots so far. I want to make it to number 15. So I'm going to pause this and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. And to let you know, there's 15 knots. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So now we're on the 15th knot, and you need a key ring. And what I do, you can choose whichever cord you want to put it on, but what I usually do is put it on the next cord that I'm going to flip, which will be the top left one in this case, and just have it right there. And then do your knot like you normally do. And that's where your key rings, gonna be, which should put it pretty much right at the top of the ribbon. And snug it down like you've done the other knots. And just do, and then you go to the right side with the clockwise and do that. And you want to do to knot 23 is the next number you want to stop at. And since you've seen me do a bunch of these, I'm going to probably pause you again while I'm doing this so that way you don't have to watch me slowly work my way through it. Now, what did I do with it? I did bring in, oh, here it is, one of my box knots that I did with blue and red. And these, I actually took out the inner strands on this 550 paracord. So you can tell that it's not as thick on the knots, and that's because there's no inner strands on it. But you can also see there's quite a few knots going through there though. And like I said, these are kind of labor intensive and more of a pain to make than my simpler, say, DNA chains or my flat chains. These are some of the ones I still need to cut, trim, and singe. But they're a lot more work. But like I said, I'm going to go up to knot number 23, and then I will come back to you. See you in a few. Okay, I'm at the 23rd knot. I just finished it. Now for this one, I do try to tighten it down a little bit tighter, because what you want to do is have the key ring up, and you're going to bend this. And what you need to do is bend it to where you can figure out it would be flat against the other side, and get the two that are closest and two on the other side, because these cords you're going to work through here. Now, this is when you're going to need a fid, which a fid is a metal, thing that has a hole in the end that actually is threaded inside. And 10 to 1, I will need to trim. I've got multiple scissors, and I've got them here, there, and everywhere, where I've singed the end of the cord, but I need to take a little bit off to where it will feed in to the fid. And you will need, you could probably get by with one fid. Well, I think I trimmed too much. Let's cinch that a little bit to do that, and there we go. Now it should bite. Yeah, there might be enough in there to hold on to it. And let me see if I've got enough, if I did good on this one, or if I need to trim it up. That one's working great. Okay, now you need to figure out, of course, when you bend this in, you got a top and a bottom. The top one, which is this one, is going to be, you want to look for knot number 7. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you want to go through the cord. It's hard for me to do this with me trying to show you what I'm doing. And feed it through underneath. And there's number 7. See, I didn't get this quite as tight as I normally do. We will tighten it down. And then the other one is going to go, the one knot below it, number 6, which is on this side. And feed that through. And there's that. And pull it tight. And then we do the same thing on this. The top and the bottom will go on number 7 for the top and number 6 for the bottom. Let's see if I have to do any trimming on these, or if I can get by with feeding it. It ain't gonna work. Try not to trim as much of it off this time. And there we go. And then this one. And trim again. Nice, sharp, good scissors. Don't use cheap scissors. I can tell you it makes a difference with doing paracord items. And trying to use a knife, yes, you could use a knife, but trying to trim just a little bits like this off could be more of a pain. Okay, the top one will be number 7 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And come on. I may have done it a little bit snug. That's another reason you don't want to do them super tight, but you do want them snug. There we go. And number 6, the one right below it. And undo the fids. You don't need them anymore for this one. And you want to pull the snug, and if they're twisted, untwist them to where they lay flat. And flip over that side and do it. And snug it up nice and tight, and that'll tighten down that last knot a little bit also while you're at it. And as you can see the knots doing it. Now, remember how you had to do the first one when I showed you at the very beginning? It was kind of a pain. You're basically doing the same thing again. I'm putting my finger here so that way, left, left, continue over counterclockwise, over and under, and through the loop. And now do another snugging down. And I do this one tight to just make sure it's there. And let's see here. There we go. And then the top is on the right side. And go clockwise. And just continue doing the knots. And it should be, I think, 4 more knots. Or a total of 4 knots to do it until it's even. And the last knot you will want to tie snug, snugger than what done the rest of them. But now we're doing counterclockwise again. I'm not going to sit there and pause it again for just these few last knots. So that way you don't have to skip that little bit. It's not going to be that terribly long. And it doesn't matter where you started at when you start doing knots. Just if it's on the right side, just follow it along and continue doing clockwise or counterclockwise, depending on if it's on the right or the left. Left is counter, right is clockwise. And let's see, where are we at number wise? 1, 2, 3, one more knot. And you can look at it and tell that it's not quite. It needs one more knot to finish it off. And counterclockwise. But like I said, this is not my favorite knot to do. It's more labor intensive. It's not as fun. Not that any of them were necessarily fun, but they make it. It has its uses, and it's a good looking knot. And if you look, once I trim this, it's evened up, so it's nice. But what I do is I will tighten this down a little bit snugger, with it being the last knot, to help hold it in place. But I'm also going to cut, trim, and singe and smush, as I like to call it. You want to trim with 1/8 to 1/4. You don't want to have overly too much sticking out, but you also don't want too little. You want enough to where if you singe it, it melts, so you can sit there and meld it against the other paracord. And of course, a lighter is a given. You don't have to have a jet butane lighter. You can use a regular lighter if you have it. And I do suggest if you use one of these, don't use one that has like a 4-flame deal, because it'll have a nuclear meltdown on what you're doing and will melt the paracord you don't want to melt. Because you just want it to be on the part that you just cut, not the whole kit and caboodle of it. And last one. And there is the breast cancer awareness ribbon keychain. And for those of you that don't know it, yes, 6 years ago I had breast cancer. So this is something that's dear to my heart, and I plan on making a bunch of these. And since I have my chemo doctor's appointment in 2 weeks, I'm going to take a handful of these to them, along with maybe some lavender ones for the generic cancer, and give them to them, because they have little kits to go things. It gives you like a bag. Usually they have different items in there that they give to the cancer patients that are going through chemotherapy. So they gave me one when I went through it. So I'm sure they still do it. And I kind of want to give back, because the people there that helped me get through a tough time in my life. And it's just something that I want to do. And I didn't think about it until somebody reached out to me, gonna do a walk for that, and wanted to get some. And I'm like, you know what? I should probably make some of these up to give to my cancer doctor and for the cancer patients that are going through whatever they're going through at this time. So, needless to say, that's what I'm working on now. Then this is how to do a ribbon paracord with the box knot. If you'd like me to actually go through and show doing multiples of these, I can. It'll be an extremely long video, because this is already over 20 minutes, and that's with me stopping in between doing it. So you see how long each one takes for me to do, because I didn't do a lot different than what I normally do anyway, other than maybe trying to show it. So we'll add another minute or two to my timing for making it. And like I said, I prefer to do the box knot when I do the actual keychains like this, the regular keychains. I do like to take out the inner strands, and then I can make a nice tight knot for this, because, I mean, you can still bend it without the inner strands in, but for this, I think this looks better and fuller being a keychain with the inner strands in. I could try making one without it just to see how it turns out, but I would have to do more knots, and I'd have to figure out how many knots to work with on that. So for now, we're going to just go this route. Give me a like, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. I'm getting close to 250. I hit 250, then I lost a couple people, and then I got another person back, so I don't know what's going on with that. People decide they don't like me and unsubscribe, which is a possibility, I guess. But anyway, if you can hit the like button, subscribe if you aren't, I'd greatly appreciate it. I do plan on, when I get to 250 and it sticks for a while, or maybe I get a couple over and it stays for a while, that I will be doing a giveaway. I've got a Jimmy Crow knife that he has donated for my giveaway. I've had it for a while now, just waiting to hit the 250 mark. Plus, I'll do different Paracord items to the winner, ask what they want. I'll do 2 or 3, 4 items for them, depending on what they're wanting. Maybe a few more, maybe a few less. If it's a labor-intensive item, there may not be as many items. If it's a simple item, like a regular keychain or a handful of zipper pulls or whatever, that's not an issue. I can do those. But we'll discuss that with whoever wins when I have it. I guess that's it. You guys have a wonderful day. Many hugs, many kisses, much love. Your friend Kelly. Bye-bye.